Aloha and welcome to Farm Life Nation, a place for conversations about the problems we face and the solutions that exist today. Well, aloha everybody and welcome to Farm Life Nation. This is episode number 3 and I am super excited to have the amazing Paulina Ann here with us today. She's going to be sharing with us a little bit about what she's been up to with the Kauai Food Hub here on Kauai. And of course, for everybody who's been watching this show so far, this is not just a Kauai farmers podcast, but we're going to start with the best. So Paulina, thanks so much for being here with us today. We're excited to talk with you.
Hi, how's it going, Raven?
It's going so good. Yay, awesome. My pleasure. I'm excited to have you here. You are our first female guest, and I'm really excited about that because I definitely want to showcase women who are into the dirt. And I'd love for you to share with everybody what inspired you to start to get your hands dirty and to start playing with plants and food a little bit more here on Kauai.
I was 17 when I first moved on to my first farm here, working for Tondu Suzuki and his family. His wife, unfortunately, at the time was diagnosed with cancer and was transitioning, and they needed help with their 4 kids and their farm. So I went on and lived with them and learned everything that there was to learn about farming, and living right in the gardens and going to market 4 to 5 times a week and just growing sprouts. And his mom is Japanese grandma. So I think that it was a traditional thing for them to grow food and have it be right there in their backyard. And grandma, all she did was cook all day long. And she just, like moved around the house and got the stuff from the garden and just cooked. And so that was like my intro to the whole farming world. And from there, it just expanded. I went to work with many other families where I just installed gardens into their homes, as well as property management. And then the property management world opened up for me.
And I think that's where you and I first met, was probably at a farmer's market in Waipa. I think we both had baby boys on our hips at the time. And so like to think back on how much time has passed and how much education you have gained since then, it's pretty phenomenal because you've had the opportunity to work with, every different type of horticulture. I mean, we're not just talking permaculture or intensive gardening, I mean, or even large scale farming. Like you've kind of had your hands in a big variety when it comes to working with plants.
Yeah, I have definitely been blessed to be able to have like you said, an array of different properties to be on. And my favorite workshops that I actually attended were Son Hadley's composting workshops. And I have been, in the last year, since opening up the food hub, I have been working with a lot of different farmers, and I can really see the difference when the farmers are utilizing compost, in their growing methods. Like there's a lot of farmers that don't. So I think that's my new mission right now, is I really want to fine tune the compost world, And right now for the food hub, I am based out of the Kilauea Community Ag Center at AHK. And that's one of the projects that I'd like to start up there is a composting project, and working with Compost Kauai. We're talking about possibly doing a drop-off location for recipients on the North Shore, because I know that they do amazing. It on. So it's like there's that, and then we're doing a cohort on the 12th with Oahu people that are coming over to do soil testing for us, and a bunch of like 10 other farmers in the area. And so that's exciting because we're going to get to know the nitty gritty of exactly what we need to implement into the earth there.
That's amazing. So, I'm glad that you mentioned composting with Sun, because when that whole scene was kind of going through Moloa'a at the time, we were kind of all starting to farm in land that had just been kind of desecrated. It had been just destroyed and raped of every mineral and nutrient and was just left behind a huge mass of DDT, let alone glyphosate. And to see what was able to happen in such a short amount of time, integrating regenerative techniques and integrating composting and integrating nitrogen fixing plants, I'd love for you to share a little bit about the awe that inspired you to kind of want to learn more, because I know you knew what it had looked like prior, and then to have seen what happened in such a short amount of time was kind of mind-blowing, at least for me. I don't want to assume, but I'm guessing that it was inspiring enough to want to kind of follow those techniques.
Oh yeah. I mean, that area and Anahola right now is another area. I was just on a 5-acre farm yesterday, and it's just so dry, but in introducing that food forest type of idea into an area that's so dry, it's like within a couple years, you already start to see the earth like absorbing more water, just water, and then the little ecosystem starts to build and create this little world, and then that's so exciting to me, like getting down to the microbial levels, and that's what I get pumped on, and then the food that you eat from this earth is going to be the best of the best, and that is essentially, the ultimate goal is to feed the earth what it needs in order for us to be able to receive that wonderful goodness as well. So it's just this balance, and I've been feeling the last 2 months that that's my calling right now, especially at AHK at the farm, because that area as well was just abandoned for I don't know how long. I believe it was pineapple before, however many years ago, 50 years ago. And I'm super excited to know like exactly what we need to implement into the earth there moving forward. And we're at a pause right now, so we're able to let the land just sit for a minute. We are planting, but there's we're like just trying to figure it all out.
Oh, good. We're doing great. You have time.
mass growing right now up there. So we are able to make about 320 boxes a week for the community. Plus we have our commercial accounts, and the Kauai Food Hub has the residential accounts that we do weekly. So, it's a lot of food that's coming out of the earth there. And I just really feel like we need to now start giving back to Mama Kauai in this one area that's pumping out a lot of food. But we are able to, look at a sustainable model and know that if the barges stop, we are going to be okay, because we also have animals. We have chickens, we have turkeys, we have sheep, we have pigs, we have quail. They just harvested quail yesterday. So it's we got a lot of stuff going on, so it feels good.
Amazing. Well, let's talk about AHK a little bit more. Like, when did it begin, and how did you get involved, and what is the overall mission vision?
So Yoshi Lahote is the director, creator, and visionary of the project, and he started it many years ago. It's been his lifelong legacy to do this project, and it is basically, he's the steward of the land. We all are now, but he is the director. So they just wanted to create a model for Kauai that is sustainable and being able to, I call it the ice box. So a lot of Hawaiians refer to the ocean as the ice box, and this is another form of an ice box, because it's a place that you can go to and get food no matter what. And as long as we are taking care of it and taking care of the animals. But right now we have a meat club. People can join the meat club and come pick up all kinds of meat. We have it in stock. We have beef, we have chicken, we have pork, like I said, and lamb and eggs and vegetables. So you don't really have to go anywhere else, and it's all grown there, And then we also have 7 other farmers that have their plots on property. They are organic, and they all have their own little, products that they grow, produce that they grow and sell, whether at market or to different stores and whatnot in the neighborhood. We have a farmers market on Thursdays from 3 to 5. So we have a lot of our stuff there, obviously. Like today, we're going to have chickens. We harvested chickens yesterday. And yeah, so it's the model is definitely, the vision's coming into fruition, for Yosh. And I'm happy that we were able to partner up there, and he has the infrastructure there for a food hub. It's got lots of refrigeration. We have a big aggregation house and wash station. And so it's really, really exciting. I mean, I would love for you to come out if you want to do a podcast out there, because it's really cool.
Oh, absolutely. My engineer, Rob's here recording this for us. He's going to just be like, wait, what? I get to go film something? Awesome. So yeah, no, we would love to come by. And I think it's incredible. I mean, almost 400 families that you guys are feeding on a weekly basis. That's huge. That's huge compared to, when I was doing CSA out there 8 years ago, we were at like 30 families. So to see the transition of how many people are choosing to support local organic agriculture instead of going to Costco is huge. And I would love for you to talk about the transition that you saw happen from the pandemic and from people all of a sudden realizing that investing in their health is really important, and keeping your immune system up is really important, and all of these things. We saw a massive transition happen. We were really lucky because all of a sudden we had no tourists here. So it's not like our shelves ever went empty, like a lot of places on the mainland. It was, that all of a sudden there was like half the population that was normally here. And I was like, wow, there's still so much abundance. It's incredible. But there was still that transition where people were like, maybe I don't want to necessarily drive as far or go into a public venue. Like I can just swing by and grab a box. I mean, that's incredible. I'd love for you to share a little bit about what were the customers sharing with you in their form of gratitude for what you guys offered during that time.
It was really like night and day. Like it started after the floods of 2018. Megan Wong and I started the Adopt a Kapuna program, where we went to Yosh and we said, hey, you have this wonderful farm. Can you make us some farm boxes for our kapuna? And we were able to get some funding to be able to provide that for the kapuna. So when the pandemic hit, we were already doing this box program for certain targeted families. And it just went from, like 30, like you said, like 30 families to like 2,000 families. Wow. Because AHK was able to get funding for us to be able to fulfill that need in the communities, like all the way to Waimea.
Wow.
And so Yosh has been doing it since. And it really, I think what it did was it actually sent like a trigger in everybody who was a recipient to want to eat better, because they were tasting it, they were eating it, and whether or not they would buy this type of food before or not, they were getting it from here. And so I think that's what shifted in a lot of people's lives. Like they were able to actually take it in, eat it, feel the good vibes that the food had, and now just wanting to have more of it. We are still getting funding for the box program. So the 300 boxes that we make for the community are gifted out.
Oh, wow.
And it's mostly to the elderly and to schools and certain recipients that are on our lists, or on the lists of, like elderly affairs and OHA. And so, but there is a potential to do another about 900 boxes a week, because we have people on a waiting list. So it's, that's what's calling to me, is like, that's why I'm really interested in how can we implement back into the earth so we can grow more.
Mhm.
Because right now I feel like that we're maxed at where we are with our staff, with the earth, and with the compost and everything that we're lacking, to be able to go to that next level.
Mhm.
And then we also have, like one hotel wants us to grow food for them. Um, so there is this need, and for anyone listening out there, if you're interested in farming, please come and see us. We have land to farm, and I will buy all the food from you, so you don't even have to go anywhere and try to sell it. So like our farmers right now, I'm really encouraging them to, instead of going out to market, just one stop shop. It's already there. We have a food hub that can just really distribute the food out into the community without them having to do it themselves. They just grow it right there on property and just drop it off at the refrigerator for me.
That's absolutely incredible. I mean, growing pains in the right way versus the wrong way. And so many farmers struggle. They struggle to find a niche, or they struggle to find a profit margin. And so to see the availability, I mean, we're just so blessed here, being able to live and work and grow on the garden island. It's such a forgiving climate. We've got a 24/7, 365 growing season. And not that every single species is going to, be a perennial, but just the availability, it really feels like the land it wants us here, wants us to be working with it hand in hand. And a lot of the problems that I think that we face when it comes to health of communities is access. Is just getting access to pure organic, regeneratively farmed agricultural products. And it sounds like you've really been able to kind of dial that in. And I know you and I were chatting off camera, and we were talking about making animal feed. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about that, because we kind of covered compost. Yes, all farmers who need land, please come and find Paulina. She will definitely carve you out a plot. But let's talk a little bit about animal feed, because we still import a ton of organic animal feed here. And you and I were kind of chatting about, well, what if we make our own? So I'd love to hear kind of what's going on in your mind around that.
So we import 40-foot container every 6 to 8 weeks. It cost us about $22,000 for that container of feed. And it's so we are a setup to sell to the community as well, so people come and pick up their feed. The last two batches have been moldy.
Oof.
Spots of it, not the entire container, but a lot of it, and so it's kind of, I didn't even know that there was such a thing as a pelletizer that you could buy as a customer. I mean, I understand there's companies doing it, but we can purchase a pelletizer for $1,000, like for a good one, and we can make our own feed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, we feed our pigs eat a lot of vegetables because we have a lot of waste, right, from our
Mhm.
farm. But to be able to like pelletize the food that we have and then gift it to people, or they can buy it, or that to me is sustainable, not
Mhm.
shipping in food. Why would we need to think about like the animals too. We can't just ourselves like, oh, we're not going to eat anything that's imported. Well, same with the animals. It's
Mhm.
like, let's just cut it off. Like
Mhm.
we are in a place where we can totally create our own systems, and as long as we have like the little things to get us going like that, like a pelletizer, boom. And then I heard about how you can make chicken feed, or not feed, but you put like rotting fish in a bucket, and you drill holes at the top of the bucket, you hang it in the chicken coop or wherever your chickens are, and then the flies come and lay their larvae into the bucket, and then you drill holes at the bottom, and so the larvae drop onto the ground, and the chickens eat the larvae, but it's high in protein and they
Yeah.
love it.
Oh yeah.
And then the fish doesn't go to the dump. So you go to all the fish markets, you collect all the scraps, and you make your own freaking chicken food.
Freaking chickens.
Chicken food. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it sounds disgusting, but I'm like, let's feed our chickens high protein.
Yeah. Living wiggly goodness.
Yeah.
I
As long
mean,
as it's
there's
not near my house.
I know, right? As long as it's out in the field, everything will be just fine. Yeah,
Far
and
away.
the solutions exist, and that's really the drive for this podcast, is that we have all the solutions, and we just have to get the information out to the people who are maybe stuck in an old way of doing, an old way of farming, an old way of thinking, especially when it comes to industrial agriculture. And I love everything that you're sharing so far. And if people want to get in touch with you, where is the best place for them to reach you at?
They can call me at 808-652-1857. That's my business line. Or they can email me at paulina@hawaiifoodhub.org.
And is Kauai Food Hub a separate entity from AHK?
It isn't now. It was. I created it back in August of 2020 when COVID was, here, and it was out of a need. What I saw was that there wasn't a system in place at AHK that was for us to be able to support the farmers once the funding was to run out. So I wanted to create a program like a food hub to be able to buy and sell, just be the middleman for them, to be able to help them out, because they were hot and heavy. We supported it. We're still supporting them, but there was a lot of money coming through to make boxes. And so I felt the need to create a system that would work for them in the long run, and not just for this short time for this COVID thing to come and go, and here we are, we're still going, but the food hub is really, essentially AHK was already doing it. They were already doing a food hub, but not really knowing it, and not labeling it. So it was just a matter of us just teaming together and having Kauai Food Hub base out of AHK, because it's essentially the same, selling produce to the customers.
Amazing. And so you mentioned quite a bit of the animal proteins that you guys offer, but I'd love to hear what's growing. What do we got growing over there right now?
Right now we have chard, kale, eggplant, tomatoes, lettuce, cucumbers, daikon, microgreens. We have our community garden too that has all kinds of baby arugula. What else? I mean, we just have so much. We have luau leaf, we have sugar cane, we got bananas, we got noni, we got lilikoi. It just goes on and on. And papayas, we got avocado, we got lots of ulu going off right now. I'm sure everybody else does too. I just had a lady call me today. I have ulu for you guys. I'm like, oh, we have like 100 trees.
Oh my.
Yeah. So we have a lot of limes. We got a lot of little Mexican lime trees going off right now. You name it. We got lots of herbs, rosemary or oregano, thyme, basil, lots and lots of basil. If anyone wants to make some pesto, please come by. I'll pack you 10-pound bags. Take it out.
I love it. I love making pesto, especially macnut pesto. It's like,
yeah.
The best. It's just the best. Well, it's amazing. And have you guys created any kind of do you have an aerial view plot map of where your annuals are, where the perennials are, how the orchards are all together? Or is everything just kind of in your mind?
Well, actually, we just, Jeremy, who is our admin there, he just got certified to be a drone flyer. So we have a drone, and we have a system that he just got. I don't know what it's called, but it's supposed to tell you what each area needs, like nitrogen, how the nitrogen levels are, and whether it's too dry or wet or, so I'm like, what in the, I'm like, let's play with this thing. So that's going to be cool, along with our soil testing, so I think we're going to get there. We do have aerial shots, but there's no plan in place. So we're trying to create a plan. I have a lady there, Trish, who's an intern, and she is amazing and has extensive experience. So I'm trying to work with her and Yosh to come up with a really cool plan for the moving forward.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to come by and to film and to go on the tour and to see everything that you're up to. And it's just, congratulations for really seeing the vision, because I remember that field when it was just, cane grass. Nobody was going to do anything with it unless it was going to become another, multi-gazillion dollar, mansion for the elite and another, gated community. So just to see what's happened and to be producing so much food and feeding our local people. And that is just like, it's so incredible, Paulina. I mean, you should be really, really proud of how far you've come in such a short amount of time.
It's Yosh. Yoshi paved the way. I'm just another steward of helping out and trying to do the best, with what we got here. And he's really the visionary of that project, and I'm just so stoked to be there and partner up with them. It's incredible.
Yay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today on a busy day. I know you got to go and get ready for market. I really appreciate you. And thanks for taking the eggs that we're producing and adding that into all the goodness. And I can't wait to see the quail production. And we have to talk turkeys like ASAP because I'm all ready to bring in more birds over here, because there's just such a peacefulness to being able to have animal stewardship that is cage free and is organic and is regenerative, and it just brings me a lot of peace. So I'm super excited to see what you guys are up to there. So okay, again, the website for AHK is
Aina Ho'okupu o Kilauea.org.
And we'll type that out for everybody that doesn't speak Hawaiian. And then the Kauai Food Hub is at kauaifoodhub.org as well.
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Paulina. I'm really excited to get this podcast out there and to guide people to what you're up to. And I'm sure we'll have you back again. So thanks again and have an awesome day. And we'll come and see you soon.
Too. Thank you so much, Raven. Appreciate it.
All right, my dear. Aloha.
Bye.
If you too would like to be on the show or would like to become a sponsor of Farm Life Nation, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear what you're growing up to. Now let's just take a moment and hear from our sponsors.